What is going on, guys? I am here at St. Philippine Duchesne Memorial Park. I just wanted to throw up a quick video before we get to going with the actual where I've been and showing you guys everything. Just give you a little brief history of what we're looking at. Basically, it used to be known as Sugar Creek Mission or St. Mary's Mission. I'm using some cheat notes because I can't remember everything. So apologies, guys, not perfect. It was established by the U.S. government to forcibly relocate the Potawatomi Indians, about 900 of them. And this is a time where the government, the military, they were taking and forcibly removing Indians from their land, pay them pennies, if that, for their land, and move them to places they did not want to go. You know, something that's just... Growing up and reading about these things, I was horrified. I was like, why could you do that to somebody? They were here before us, you know. And the more I read about this place, the more it intrigued me, because I want to generally know more about Native American history and their culture, because I believe it's beautiful. You know, the things that you get to see online, some movie things, you know. And I know movies is not a good place to get information, but you know, documentaries and things are, because I enjoy reading about Sitting Bull and you know, Sitting Bull, Crazy Horse, Geronimo, you know, and so yeah, let's get back to what I was talking about. But anyway, they brought 900 Potawatomi Indians down here, and it was a 660 mile journey, which they forced them to walk. Yeah, walk, and it took 2 months. And of course, you know, like any kind of gigantic move like that, it was disastrous. The conditions were terrible. And they were brought here to St. Philippine Duchesne's Memorial Park. And the trail they known was the Trail of Death. And during that time, around 40 people died, and most of them were children. And the conditions when they got here, they had no places, they had no homes. It was just land. They had the dirty creeks and the rivers around here, and you know what you're going to see today. A lot of people died here, and there's probably I think they said there were 600, if I remember right, buried out here. And in 1841, the Catholic Sisters established a school for the Potawatomi Indians here, and it was led by Rose Philippine Duchesne. And I give some history about her in the video too as well. I'm filming this after I filmed most of this stuff, which I should have done it before, but it kind of escaped my head. So yeah, this is basically a little brief video of what you're going to see today. There's some pretty awesome things that I got to see and experience and got to physically go near. You know, a lot of this stuff you see in museums and you can't touch it. You can't reach down and look at the wells that were hand dug by Native Americans. Good afternoon, everybody. This is another location video that I decided to do. I was looking for places around where I live at to go and, you know, learn some history and things that just intrigued me and everything. And a friend of mine online on Facebook told me about this place. And immediately, as soon as I started reading about it, it piqued my interest, because this has to do with Native American history. And that's been one thing that I've been wanting to do since I started this channel, is get more into learning Native American culture, the history, because I love watching documentaries and things about Native Americans, and I want to know more about their culture, you know, because it's a beautiful culture. And so yeah, a friend told me about this. This place is called St. Mary's Mission. That's one of the names, and it's called St. Philippine Duchesne Park. Now, I apologize if I get any of these names wrong in here, because there's a lot that are Potawatomi names, and there's a lot that are French names, because St. Philippine Duchesne, she was a French nun that came here to help educate and teach Native Americans about Christianity. Now, from what I learned in school, the way I get it, this is where they pretty much tried to convert Native Americans into Christians. But I could be wrong. They could have, actually wanted to help people. But this is an encampment where during these times was when they were kicking Native Americans off all their land. And this is basically saying St. Philippine Duché Memorial Park is owned by the Archdiocese of Kansas City, and the Knights of Columbus are responsible for the property and taking care of it and everything. So basically what this place was where they would take Native Americans after they kicked them off their land. And this starts the trail of death, if I remember right. So this was basically a mission where they all lived and stayed after they were kicked off of their land in Michigan and northern Indiana. And the death trail was basically all the way through Michigan, through Indiana, through Illinois, through Missouri, until Kansas. So I figured this would be a great experience for me to learn more, and great experience just to show everybody, because there's not a lot of videos of it online that I could see. The ones that I seen, there was one that was pretty decent that showed everything, but they didn't talk a lot in the video. So I thought, you know what, maybe I can spread some info out here. So yeah, this basically tells you that this is St. Mary's Mission, St. Philippine Duchesne Memorial Park. It's Sugar Creek. It used to be called Sugar Creek Mission too, and it was a Potawatomi settlement after a forced march from northern Indiana, a journey called the Trail of Death, which also they were forced from Michigan as well. The Potawatomi actually is actually pretty close to me, because from where I'm from in Illinois, there was a lot of Potawatomi campsites and places named after the Potawatomi where I grew up. So this is kind of coming around full circle, I would say, or something like that. But yeah, Saint Philippine Duchesne. She was a French nun that came over to help educate and help. A little bit about her. When she was little, that's all she wanted to be, was a nun and to help people. And her father, who was a prominent attorney at law and a prominent person of the town that they were living in France, he didn't like that idea. Like, she went to what I was reading, she went to I would guess a missionary. I'm not sure. I'm kind of losing my train of thought about that. But she went to a church, a mission or something like that, and she wanted to become a nurse, or a nun, not a nurse. I don't know why I said that, but so anyways, he didn't like that. He went and got her, and he didn't want her doing anything like that. Now, her mother apparently was more of the religious side of that and encouraged her to do it, from what I've read. But she seemed like a really good person with what I was reading about her doing here, trying to help the Indians and Native Americans. I apologize. I'm trying not to be disrespectful or anything like that at all. But she wanted to help the Native Americans. You know, from everything that I researched, she was actually a really good person. And just a little bit about her. And the Indian children, they would see her praying. Like, she stayed here for a long time until she was like frail and she couldn't do it. And she would always just pray. And the Potawatomi children, they would see her doing this in her room for hours upon hours, just praying. And they would go in there, and what I've read, they either put pieces of stone around her when she was kneeling and praying, or they put pieces of paper around her, and they wanted to see if she ever moved. And that's when the Potawatomi gave her the name, the woman that always prays. And there was a couple people here that I did the research on, and they seemed like they were genuine people. They understood the Native Americans' suffering that was going on here, because they were dirty creeks. They didn't have, when they got here, there was no homes, there was no places to actually have home. They were just, you know, during that time, they were forcing all the Native Americans off their land, which wasn't right at all. They were here before us. This is their land. This was their land, not ours to just take, you know. That's what I've always thought growing up in school and learning about how we as, you know, white people and treated these people. They were the original people here, you know. Alright. here's some artifacts, and I believe this is a hand-dug well. There's so many wells and things that I've seen online that were just really awesome to see. And there's a lot. I'm not sure if this is a well or what this exactly was. I can't remember reading a ton about it online, but this is all handmade. I can tell you that for sure. I know they said everything here was the Native Americans dug a lot of things around here, and I'm not sure if that's a well or what. I assume it is. A statue of Saint Mary. I believe that's Saint Mary. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not a super huge religious person. I don't know a lot about all of that. I'm not an atheist or anything like that, but just, And now, we'll head up here. Of course, that's Jesus Christ, but yeah, I believe this place, they were converting and they were baptizing Native Americans, and I don't know if that was forcefully or not, which from history, most of it was. But from what I was reading, there were some Native Americans that were genuine and they wanted to do this. I'm not sure completely, because you never know nowadays with history and how a lot of stuff's been changed. But yeah, right here, I believe this is where they talk about the Trail of Death and how terrible it was. And this is like a journal. And I'll let you guys pause. I'm not going to read all this, but it basically is, going day by day not day by day, but days by day. Looks like it's going, yeah. It basically tells what happened and, how terrible the Trail of Death was. There was 900 Potawatomi Indians that were Native Americans that were relocated, and during this time, again, I'm going to let you guys pause and read this stuff. I'm not going to read it all or try to be here forever. But during this hellacious trip, 40 people died. And most of them, sadly, were Native American children, which is heartbreaking because, you had cholera, all those diseases during that time that didn't have a cure or any kind of medicine to help treat it. So a lot of children died. And donations are welcome. I don't know where you would do that to help keep the park funded and keep it, keep everything original, which is this historic place. Really, really beautiful out here. And the drive-in is pretty gnarly, up and down roads and hills and through forests. But so far, I'd say it was really well worth it to come out here. And of course, you have a statue of Jesus Christ. There's another plaque up here we can go see. Again, there's some detail down here. There's some angels. But there was a priest too here also. I can't remember his name off the top of the head. I'd have to get my notes out. But, for the most part, I believe some of the nuns and some of the priests, from what I was reading, some of them really understood the trying times for the Native American Potawatomi, and they understood it. And there were some that really felt bad, and they prayed, like Sister Philippine. I think she genuinely wanted to help and felt bad. And there's a couple more priests that I read about that, you could tell that they had thoughts about what was happening and all that stuff, and they genuinely had some compassion. And yeah, this is the Trail of Death from Indiana to Kansas. Now, I read online that it started in Michigan, and it came down here. But you have where it started, and Logansport, Lafayette, Indiana, I know where that's at. Danville. Danville's not too far from my hometown of Kankakee. I can't even remember the actual drive, the mileage, but it's not very far from where I live in Illinois. Went to Monticello, to Decatur, to Springfield. I've been to Springfield and to Decatur. Quincy, I've been there. When I moved down here, we stopped in Quincy. Then you go into Missouri to Exeter, Palmyra, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Paris, Keterville, Independence, Paola, Osawatomie, and then to St. Mary's Sugar Creek Mission, that's where we're at. And apparently, from there, I remember reading that they were moved to New Mexico. After that, they stayed here for about 10 years. I've seen something over here I want to check out. Is that a tree stump? It almost looked like a coffin from far back, but no, it's a tree stump. I'll walk over here and see what we can read on this sign over here. And it looks like a really nice area, but back then, from what I was reading, it was, it was almost like being on the Oregon Trail. I mean, the death trail just sounded terrible. And when they got here, they, again, like I said, they had no houses, nothing. Okay. Now this site, I don't know how much I'm going to be able to see off of it. But from what I was reading online, there was another tribe here, apparently predated before the arrival of the Potawatomis. And it says, it says, the rockline pits in this area predate the arrival of the Potawatomi Indians. Theories are that they may have been used for seed or food storage. The rocks here are shaped differently than any other in the area, and their origin is uncertain. It is not clear if the Potawatomi used the pits, but they did build on the site. Located in this area were rosary beads, an 1810 American coin, religious medals dated 1830 with French and Latin inscriptions, glazed European pottery with Roman, Grecan themes, children's school slates, and writing tools, clay and stone marbles, a pewter spoon, Indian beads made of turkey quills and bone, a thimble, and straight pins, a stylus for writing, surgical scissors, square nails, locks, lead rifle balls, animal bones with charcoal, and numerous other items. A fireplace foundation indicates there was a building here. Archaeologist in charge, Henry J. Roker. And here are some of the rocks around here. I don't know how far I can go out here because I don't want to. Maybe I can see some things over here I want to check out. Yeah, it's really soft over here. I need to watch out for copperheads and snakes too. They said that they are a much, and I actually hit one coming in. It would look like a black snake. But yeah, here are the pits, which these are all hand dug by Native Americans, and wow, this is really fascinating, Standing where Native Americans, sometimes you can't just get into places like this, where the Native Americans, it's all, they block it off, which rightfully so, I agree, because you don't know who's going to come out here and tear this stuff up, because this is original. This is from way back in 1800s. Really neat to be able to come out here and see this. I gotta watch where I'm walking. I don't want to get bit. And again, yeah, there's a line of rocks right around here, and that's where the pits are. So there was a house here at one point during that time. And right now it's just it's beautiful out here. It's not too hot. Really just peaceful. I assume back then it probably wasn't. It was probably, just hectic. The Native Americans were suffering. They're in a new place they didn't really want to be. And coming up on another pretty big marker and a pretty big wall over here. And this is just a picture of the Native Americans making the death trail, is what I assume this is, and that had to have been hell, Looks like there's an artist name up here, Edna Boots. And yeah, this is, I don't know when this was put in, honestly, I don't know. Let's see if there's anything around the back. No, it's just down. This has to be super old. Well, at least pretty old. More? I bet there's nothing on the back now. Again, there's some more of these rock walls, which I assume is still has to be, original, that the Native Americans, the Potawatomi, built. And there is. Now, yeah, I read about this online. The Fort Scott and California Road. This road was used by settlers going to Fort Scott, where groups going to California and New Mexico were escorted by the U.S. Cavalry. This is the only section of the road that is still known to exist. So, let's go take a walk down here for a little while. So this was a road that went to Fort Scott, and apparently that's where, I live. And the Native Americans were transferred to New Mexico and California. Oh God, I'm going to have to watch out for snakes and animals. I'm not really too worried about the animals, but the snakes, no. Sorry. Yeah, this is going like downhill. Yeah, this is very, 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 very heavily wooded area. It's kind of cool that I'm walking on a road that Native Americans and cavalry soldiers and all these historic people walk down. And apparently this is the only section of the road that exists. So I don't know how far I'll be able to go, but we're going to go take a walk down here and see. That's for sure. But yeah, I remember learning about places like this in school, and I think we all did, where they would, I'm not sure that's the case here, but I have a feeling, my big feeling is it was, even though there was good people here, I have a feeling this is where they were trying to convert Indians and Native Americans. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to say Indians, because I don't want to be, yelled at by saying that, because I'm trying to be as respectful as I can, because I have so much respect, for the Native American culture, and I love watching documentaries about Native Americans and things that happened in time. I just got done watching a 3-part documentary on the Battle of Little Bighorn, and there's so many people, great warriors from the Native American culture, great chiefs actually, Sitting Bull, and great warriors like Crazy Horse. And wow, this is pretty rocky right here. I don't know if you guys can see this. This is crazy. I'm gonna keep going as far as I can though. But yeah, that was my main thing when I started doing this channel. I wanted to find more places to go, because I do a lot of historic videos so far about oh man, there's gnats like crazy. I gotta get out of here. But I do a lot of historical stuff, but where I live at in Kansas, there's so much history here. It's why not do this video? Take advantage of it. Learn stuff yourself. Learn more stuff and visit stuff instead of just watching it on YouTube, which, that's a good way to learn, but you don't get to get out here like this. Look at this. You don't get to walk on things like this and walk where the Native Americans walked and touch things that they did, and wow, this is really terrible. Glad I wore decent shoes. I mean, they're not the greatest, but yeah, But yeah, I just, that was my main goal when I started this, is to learn more about Native American culture. I need to look up more things around here, around my area, where I can go and visit and, maybe speak to Native American people, because it's something that I want to learn about. And it was something that I always thought about in school. I loved it when we would talk about Sitting Bull, Geronimo, and you name it. Just something that I thought was beautiful, the culture of Native Americans. The artwork, everything, it's just... Whoa! Oh God! Jesus Christ, what was that? Look at that, look at that. I don't know if you guys seen that. It looked like a lizard. Or a salamander. Scared the piss out of me, though. Okay, let's see. Alright, now we're back off that trail, which was pretty rough. It says, the artifacts found at this park can be seen at the Swan River Museum in Paola, Kansas, which is 5.5 miles east of here to 7 Highway, then north to Paola. The museum is on the northeast corner of the town square, and this bell may be used to signal people on the trail. Let's see if it works. Yep, works. Alright, so now let's get back to filming some stuff up here. It says... This, I don't know. I'm assuming a statue or something was on that. Okay. Okay, it's kind of a little hard to read, but now, again, excuse me if I get the name wrong. I'm trying to pronounce them as good as I can. The Potawatomi chief, Nessawawaki, was responsible for bringing the black robes to Sugar Creek Mission in 1837. 70 years later, even without a priest, they remembered the songs and prayers in memory. I don't remember reading about that. And the black robes, which they considered the priests and the nuns, from what I was reading online. So, another plaque up here we can go read. Yeah, that hike was pretty crazy. Really, really crazy. Need to come back sometime and walk it when I have more time to follow it all the way around, because it leads everywhere. Okay, St. Mary's Mission. A church was dedicated on this site on Christmas Day, 1839, by, I'm going to say Friar Christian Hoken, Fr. Friar. At one time, 1,300 Potawatomi Indians were worshipped here. The church was burned in 1848 when the U.S. government moved the Indians to St. Mary's in Kansas. Yeah. It just seemed like it was a constant thing of just every time they would move the Native Americans somewhere, they would get moved again. And it seemed just like the U.S. government just didn't care. They just wanted what they thought was theirs, which wasn't really theirs to take. Let's see, right here it says, St. Mary's Mission, established 1839. This marker, erected by Reverend T.H. I can't see this name. It's Concilia, and I can't see the rest of it. It's kind of buried underneath the rocks right there. But we will head over here. Now this is really cool, really amazing looking. That is a gigantic cross. Now this says, to the greater honor and glory of God and memory of St. Philippine Duchesne. And again, it's probably not the way you say it, but I'm going with the best that I can. I heard it said differently twice online on some YouTube things I was browsing around on. But yeah, that is one big gigantic cross. Okay. Now it says this memorial is dedicated to Quakakanam-Ad. And I'm probably butchering that, and I apologize because I don't know how to speak the language. So it's Potawatomi for woman who prays always, which I said the story earlier about the children that she taught and the name that the Potawatomi gave her. It says Rose Philippine Duchesne was a nun of the Society of the Sacred Hearts of Jesus, a teaching order. She taught Indian children here in 1841. She was canonized a saint on July 3rd, 1988. And canonized, I believe that's just, I was going to look that up to make sure I knew what it was, but I did not do it. But basically, she was made a saint is what I'm taking that out to be. So, we're going to walk on over here. There's some more of the wall. I need to watch out so I don't trip. There's some more trails down that way. Okay, it says, in memory of, and it says, newly ordained Jesuit Friar Benjamin Marie Petit came here with the Wabash and St. Joseph Potawatomi Indians in 1838. It was a harsh and cruel trip. Ill health forced his return to St. Louis, where he died on February 10th, 1839. And I do remember reading about that. There's quite a few things around here to actually see. And this basically tells the story about Father Benjamin Marie Petit. I get as close as I can so you guys can read it. That way I don't have to read all this to you, because that would take quite a bit of time. Now we will walk this way because there is some more signs. And this says priest's house. Some of the Jesuit priests who lived here and served here are Friar Christian Hokian, Friar Francis Renaud, Friar Felix Van Quickenborn, Friar Peter John Verhagen, Friar Peter Desmond, Friar Felix, is that Felix? Flexia? I can't pronounce that. Friar John Baptiste Smets, Friar Herman Alien, with many trials and hardships for the love of God and their fellow man. Yeah, those would definitely tell those are French names. I could not pronounce it. It sounds like my mouth's full of peanut butter. Okay. To the Indian well. Okay. Okay, I'll come over here, and it said, on this site stood a 5-room log convent completed mid-March 1842. On this site. Which it had to have been maybe right here with all this. Maybe. Okay. And there's a lot that looks like a foundation around here, like right here. And then we turn around, and it looks like a foundation probably right there. And I'm not sure what this is right here, but it could be part of the house, which I assume. Yeah, this looks like a fireplace, so this is definitely the spot. I don't know if that's a footprint that looks... That might be original, somebody's footprint from back in the day. But the tread on it looks kind of like a hiking boot, but that's a small foot. Yeah, this would be the chimney. Okay, so I don't know where this Indian well's at, so we can go look for that, I guess, and then turn around. Indian well. Indian well is this way? Again, there's a lot. I don't know if I want to go back in there, because there's bugs, and we're finding ticks everywhere all over us. So I don't think I'm going to venture too far back in there. So we will go this way. Now I wonder if this is original. Horseshoes? I wonder if this was original. Could be. I mean, it makes sense. There's a big fire pit. I don't think that's original. It's probably been made since, but I'll go down here and see some more. Okay, this is another painting by Edna Boots, St. Philippine Duchesne and Indian Children, dedicated by Bob White to his wife Esther. Okay. There's some signs down here I'm going to go read. I'll go venture out here a little bit more. Okay, and this says, on this site in July 1841, Senior Duchesne, Senior Amont, Senior, I'm not sure what that SR stands for. If somebody can point me in the right direction, that'd be great. And Senior O'Connor, I'm not going to say senior because I'm not sure what that SR stands for, lived in a 12 by 15 cabin owned by the Indian Minope. It had 2 sleeping chairs and sleeping benches. Okay. There's some rocks around here. You can probably see a little bit of the foundation somewhere. Walk down here. Oh, this is one spot that I wanted to see. Okay. Says, in St. Philippine's biography, it stated that she frequently sat on a rock near her cabin where she would say her rosary was part of a near her cabin where she would say her rosary. Part of her rosary was unearthed at the base of this rock, thereby giving some credence that this might have been the site mentioned. Well, makes sense. And it's in a pretty open little spot right here. Because right there, where we just were, that was where her house was, her cabin. And, yeah. I'm not walking back out in there. These gnats and these mosquitoes are so crazy. Walking back up the trail. Okay, now there's a sign over here, but this looks like a foundation for something, if you guys can see this. Plenty of formation, and looks like a foundry, a base of something, foundation of something. Here's just a marker that says 14th, Jesus laid in the tomb. There's quite a few of these markers that I can see, and you guys can see out there too, but I don't know if I'm going to go all the way to all of them, because these mosquitoes and stuff are nuts. This was the foundation to something, so we're going to go read about this. Okay. On this site, a log cabin with stone foundation was built for St. Philippine Duchesne and 2 other nuns. The work was done by the Potawatomi Indians under the directions of black master carpenter Edmund, who had accompanied the nuns to Kansas from St. Charles, Missouri. The cabin was 19 by 19 and was used as a schoolroom for Indian girls. The loft served as a sleeping area for the nuns. Yeah, definitely tell this was a foundation. And there's a sign up here. I'm definitely not going back out in the wooded area because I'm getting itchy. Okay. 14 stations of the cross depicting our Lord's journey to Calvary. Okay, guys, and her name is very long, and I'm going to show you guys. I read up about her before I came down here, but her name is so long. Like, I'll show it to you, but we'll give you a brief, well, not a brief, but I'll let you know who she is and what she did. But a very, very, very good human being from what I read. Everything online and stuff. She was the first Native American, North American Native American to be canonized, to be made a saint, and she was actually made a saint, the first Native American to be given that privilege in the Roman Catholic Church. So we will go over here and read her plaque that they have up here for her, and that is actually pretty cool. Native American. I'm trying to think of how to say this without not being offensive, but in their language, I would guess, is how I'm going to say it, because I don't know how to say this. But it's a turtle, a cross, and an owl. But this goes on about her. Like I said, look at her name. Her name is so long. I don't want to, butcher it because she's a saint, and she, but her name, I'm just going to say Saint Kateri. And what her name meant was the fairest flower that was ever bloomed among the red men. She lived from 1656 to 1680, and she died at the age of 24. Now, I read online she had smallpox, but I don't know if that's what killed her or not. And I know they said by the time she got older, her scars from smallpox was disappearing, but we'll read this. Kateri, and I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing her name wrong. I don't know how to pronounce some of these Native American names. She was an Indian princess. Her father, Ronka, was a chief of the Mohawk and Iroquois Turtle Clan tribe. Her mother was Kaneta of the Algonquin tribe. This young Indian maiden is honored on July 14th as the first North American Indian proposed for canonization in the Roman Catholic Church. She was canonized October 2nd, 2012 by Pope Benedict. She dedicated her life to prayer, penance, chastity, caring for the ill, and other acts of charity. Immediately before her death, her childhood smallpox scars totally vanished. A cross in her memory stands at the Ariesville, New York, near the site of the village where she lived. And also, where I'm from, there's a lot of things to do with Iroquois around my area. There was Iroquois County, Illinois. There were some things in the state park about the Iroquois Indians and things that I remember from when I was a kid. And yeah, she's actually a saint, the first Native American to become a saint. And Pope Benedict did that in 2012. And now we'll walk over here behind the buildings. And again, guys, I'm sorry if I pronounce some of these names wrong. I'm trying to learn, and she had a pretty long name. And out of respect for her as being a saint, I didn't want to butcher it, and I still feel bad that I probably got the name wrong. But we will walk over here to where all these crosses are, and there's a little monument here too, I think, to the trail of death. Yeah. So there's where it ended was Kansas. They came through Missouri, came through St. Louis, because there's a little St. Louis rock right there with St. Louis in it. Of course, you have Illinois, and then Indiana where it started. But see, I read online it started in Michigan too. There was tribes in Michigan that they brought down too and forced them off their land. And this talks about Father Petit and the Potawatomi Trail of Death. Now, I'm going to try to get in here for you guys so you can pause, because I don't want to sit here and take up too much of everyone's time by reading all of this. I'm just trying to get the information that I know out there and get as much as I can. And this is it's just showing all the cities of where they went through. And it was a 660-mile trip, which took 2 months, where 40 died, mostly children, of typhoid fever and the stress of the forced removal. The young priest that was with them, which was Benjamin Pettit, he became ill on the trail and died shortly thereafter near this location in St. Louis. So, this is the circle dots on the trail are some of the 48 places where the Potawatomi people camped one night or more on the forced removal, according to the official journal kept by a government agent. Yeah, a government agent. Yeah, I'm sure his tales were true. I don't trust the government back then, and kind of honestly don't trust them now. I'm probably going to come back and read this, but here's some more if you guys. And I believe these crosses are where Native Americans and fellow clergymen, I think, are buried as well. I'm not sure, but we're going to go up here and find out. Okay. I'm going to take my hat off because this is sacred ground. This place is in memory of more than 600 Catholic Potawatomi Indians buried in this field and down by the river far from their ancestral home of the Great Lakes area. Their names are inscribed on the crosses. May they rest in peace. So, I'm really having a hard time debating if I want to go read them, because I don't want to be disrespectful to the people that are buried here. Because I'm very superstitious. Well, not superstitious, but I want to be respectful of Native American land and their burial sites. So, okay. We'll see if we can read some of these. Alright. It's really hard to read, guys. I don't know if you can see some of this. Let's see. It says Indian burial records at the St. Mary's Mission, 1834 to 1849. Let's see. Daughter of Medjas. It has their names, and then it has their age. So, oh man, there's a 4-year-old. Wife of Wysa. I'm not gonna slaughter these people's names because that's disrespectful to me. Like, I feel like I'm doing them no justice, but you can read how old they are. Oh my God. A 1-month-old, 6-month-old, 5-day-old, 1-day-old. Wow. Yeah, I can just imagine just the I don't know how to explain it. I'm getting kind of tired. The hell, honestly, that these Native Americans went through. Again, guys, I'm gonna try to show you. On the right side, it shows their age, and then on the left, it shows their names. But I don't know if this camera's picking it up or not, because my screen's a little small. So, and then over here, they'll show your age. I don't know if I can get it. Yeah, I mean, this is beautiful. I mean, where I'm sitting at right now, this looks peaceful. It looks beautiful. It's a nice day outside, and I'm hoping these Native Americans are resting in peace, and they're in a better better place, you know, because it's all a sad story. It's terrible what we did to them, our ancestors did to them. I'll never understand why they thought they could just take things from people that were here before us, you know. Might get some flack for that, but that's the God's honest truth. They were here before us. We had no right to do this to them and force them from their native lands that was theirs. It wasn't ours. And I apologize for that. Well, you know what? I'm not going to apologize if that offends someone. It's the truth. That's history. We took things from the Indians and Native Americans that didn't belong. It wasn't ours. Here's some more. Again, guys, I'm sorry if I can't pick it up because my screen's small and I'm not seeing what it's... I can see it picking up stuff, but... I hope I'm not walking up. I hope this isn't the actual graves. I hope the graves are... I hope they're buried out there, because I would feel so damn bad if I'm walking on their actual grave. And here's another one. I mean, the more you look at this and then you see the ages, it's really heartbreaking. I mean, it truly is. You have elderly, you have super young one-day-olds that died here, that are buried here. And, yeah, just looking out over this field, that what it looked like back in the day, and the conditions. And I've read the conditions weren't great at all. Like, they had, the creeks were dirty water. And I would assume that's how a lot of them died, by drinking that nasty, dirty water. And yeah, but as of right now, it's peaceful out here. Like, it's quiet, it's beautiful, and you know, it's sacred land, and you know, it's just kind of a surreal feeling that I actually get to view this, and it's really, really, really cool to witness history, to be this close to history, to be this close to things that you'd see in a museum. Like I said, those pits up there, the rocks, the wells, that they were hand built by Native Americans. And yeah, I am forever grateful to come up here. Oh, I seen something that I need to go see before I sign off of here and get out of here. So we'll walk over there and talk. But if you're in this area, this is definitely a place that you should visit, especially if you want to learn more about Native American culture, about what happened to Native Americans that was wrong, because this is a prime example of what was wrong, and things that the government did. And it's really peaceful up here. It's pretty. It's really clean and really well maintained. I can tell you that. It's a nice little place. And it's a good educational experience for young kids. And with the way the world's been going lately, I feel like, you know, there's things that's been being removed, which for some things, yeah, that should be removed. But there's a lot of history that's getting forgotten. And, you know, I honestly feel like the young people, they need to learn about this stuff, especially like this, so things like this doesn't ever happen again. You know, like Hitler. Like, they need to learn to not be like that, because we can't afford to have, you know, the world just can't deal with people like that commit genocide. And you know, they need to learn not to become a human like that. Like, because what happened to the Native Americans, it was a tragedy. And right here, this is a painting, not a painting, but it's I remember reading about it. Let me go see if I can find the thing. I can't remember everything about it, so. Okay, it says parking. That's got to be this has got to be the description. I just can't remember everything, so. Okay. This is the Daily Offerings painting, and it, not painting, but this granite depiction of Saint Philippine and two American Indians is an enlarged copy of a 3x5 sketch done by an unknown nun of the St. Charles, Missouri. Lawrence Brandstetter of Bruce Marble in Fort Scott, Kansas, copied and enlarged this design using a sandblast technique on granite. The coloring used has a life expectancy of 40 years outdoors. The stations of the cross were also done by Mr. Brandstetter using the same technique. I knew he was from Fort Scott, but I couldn't remember the name. But yeah, that's beautiful. But yeah, definitely a place to come visit. A place that'll, teach your children that this is something that was wrong. It shouldn't have happened. And that, just as we get older, we try to do better. And I know that's easier said than done with the way the world, the country, everything's going now. There's a lot of hate in the world. And that's what caused things like this. And the Holocaust is hate. Fear of people that they didn't know. Fear of not even trying to get to know the people like the Native Americans, and we were different to them as they were different to us. Except we did the wrong thing. Completely the wrong thing. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Getting pretty tuckered out from all the walking, but it was well worth it. It was awesome. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. So we'll see you guys later and have a good day.